Hey, how's it going, guys? So, in today's video, I want to take a little bit of a different opinion about PSO2 New Genesis. The game's been out for a little over a year. We just had the first anniversary events, which was pretty spectacular. So, if you weren't able to participate in that, well, this video is probably in your alley, and this is the main thing I want to talk about. If you haven't played PSO2 since, let's say since the game pretty much launched, maybe you hit the level cap then, which is 20, which was 20, and now it's 60. Maybe you haven't touched the game since. You're probably thinking, is this the best time to get back into PSO2? Well, I'm going to answer that question in this video because I think this will help a lot of people, especially those who haven't touched the game since they got burnt out when the cap was 20 and Sega didn't really respond well to criticism. They were talking about it, they were discussing it, but they didn't do much of anything to hear what people were complaining about the game. And it sucks because this game has amazing potential, but it's underutilized. So in today's video, we're going to discuss if you haven't touched this game in a long time. Maybe you played a little bit of Chapter 2, the Redem area, and then you're like, okay, I'm done, and then haven't touched it since. So I'm going to go ahead and just discuss in this video, is it worth it to come back to this game with everything they've done so far? Let's discuss. So a few things that really played New Genesis in the beginning, and which I think a lot of people were really turned off with the game, was the lack of Sega really paying attention to the feedback the players were given. I will admit the beginning of PSO2 wasn't the greatest, but what game when they launched were really that great? You have to give them credit, they launched during the pandemic, when a lot of people were working from home and such. So, gotta give Sega where credit is due. They didn't have to deliver this kind of game during a global pandemic, in which, again, a lot of people were working from home, some people were working in standards of which are not optimum for office work, for doing any type of game work or anything like that. So, they were really dealing with what they had, the equipment they had at home. It wasn't easy for everyone, which is why I still think PSO2 New Genesis should have waited at least one more year, but that's just my opinion. Maybe all the lessons they could have had would have been better. They could have opened the beta up to more participants. The Xbox community should have had a little more taste of the beta. I understand they were the only one to beta test PSO2 because PSO2 on PC was going for a very long time, so there was no need to really beta test that. It just make sure the kinks in the console were working just fine, and the game was phenomenal on console. It worked just well. But nevertheless, when it came to New Genesis, I think a lot of players really just put off with Sega's ignorance about the game and their lack of really innovating when it came to events. The first 3 events were trash. The first one was great because, well, it was the only one of its kind, so yeah, of course it was fine. But after that, the second event was pretty much a copy and paste of the first one, and the third one was the same. And I think people just didn't want to play the same thing over and over. It's just that first couple of months of stagnation of PSO2 just really it made turn people off the game, and they just weren't interested anymore. They moved on, and I think they're still moved on. But in this kind of argument, I think if you haven't touched the game in forever, I really think you should pick this game back up again. It's actually improved quite a bit. With the release of Frozen Resolution, I think the best thing they did for this game was all the quality of life things that they really needed to do. Like, for example, in my favorite, you see on screen, I haven't picked up a single weapon. They're just auto-selling. And that's just one feature that was needed the most. You pause for like a good minute to get rid of all the junk you've accumulated during PSE burst. And as I'm just showing right here, I'm not getting any junk. Maybe some weapons I needed, some units and such. But all the junk units, the junk weapons, 3-star and below I don't need, they just get automatically sold. And that's brilliant. And that was the one thing I requested the most time. Every time I tweet to them on Twitter, we need auto sell. You know, the next big thing was not having to watch the regional mag do its stupid dance. You just feed the items and run off. Just small stuff like that will make everyone's experience in PSO2 that much more enjoyable. And I think a lot of people would really agree with me on that one. And if you were honestly just looking for any reason to get back into this game, if you haven't touched it since launch, maybe you did, again, a little bit of the Redem region and that was it, or whatever else. I think what they've done with the Kavaris region so far is really good. They have a lot to do with this region, as there's not much to do in the region besides complete the story, which the story is actually rather short. And that's a little disappointing, but that's okay. A short story, afterwards you have enough to tide you over. We got 7-star weapons in the game now. They're pretty much a bitch to get right now, but I'm pretty sure with events they'll be a lot easier. And we have a new region that we're looking forward to this December, which will be most likely volcanic, which I will talk about in another video. But if you need a good solid MMO again, I think New Genesis is actually at a point where I'm actually logging in every single day, and that's saying something. Before the Kavaris region, I'd maybe log in, do dailies, and done. Now I'm logging in, doing dailies, doing exploration sectors, doing combat sectors, leveling up other classes, which is something I've been wanting to do, but now there's enough to do in the game to tide you over. And with July around the corner, I'm very sure they're going to have some new events going right around the corner. So who knows? We have another likely event coming on. Kavaris is a nice region that's got so much to explore with some Easter eggs in there. And I think it's time, if you haven't touched the game, give it a try. And that's the best thing I can say. Just give it a try. You'll be surprised for just the quality of life improvements they've done, the most needed ones. When it comes to things like the magnification, the auto selling, leveling up, and other stuff like that. The leveling up, I think, is probably the most requested one. After you've hit maximum level in this game, there's still a plethora of quest givers that will give you 1 million experience points for a fetch quest and 300,000 experience points for picking up a couple items, which you probably already have. So leveling up your subclasses and other classes is just that much more easier. And if you're in the Redem regions, the same deal. You have more opportunities to level up, get your classes up, or start a new character, start a new class from scratch. There's just so much to do now. There's so much more to collect, and just more incentives. You got free running events and stuff like that. You got Battle Dias, you got Trinitas, you got all these. Now we got ancient enemies that are showing up in the gorge and stuff like that. It's a lot. And I think personally, if you haven't touched the game, get back into it. Just do me that solid. It's actually pretty good now. So let me know what you guys think. Have you, or are you one of those people who haven't touched PSO2 and maybe your character's still level 20? You see the events and stuff on YouTube, Twitter, whatever. You're like, meh, it's eh. And then you see the new region, like the Redem region, you're like, okay, it's alright. It's fine. And then you see Kavaris, you're like, maybe? But I'm here to tell you, play it. Trust me, it's good now. They have a lot to do, because I think Kavaris' story, again, is just too short. But I'd say just give it a solid try. You will not be disappointed. And even the first quest, going from Redem to Kavaris, gives you 1 million experience points. So if you're at level 45, you'll probably be level 52 or 53. and you'll be primed to go and get yourself cold in a very cold region. So thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.